Hello and good evening. Welcome back to the IIRL channel. And as the title suggests, it is a brand new season. Season 2 is underway. Shorter season, leading us up to the release of the new F1 game, which we're expecting to drop around June or July. Good evening if you are new around here. My name is SunGod, head of streamers here at IIRL. Kicking off a brand new season in style. Last week we did a reveal stream in which the drivers were randomly picked in a wheel which decided what cars and what teammates they would have for all 4 of our divisions here this season. We're expanding to 4 divisions this season instead of the 3 last season. So on Tuesdays we have the no assist tier. All of these drivers are on absolutely no assists whatsoever. No anti-lock brakes, no traction control, no racing line. And all of the other stuff, no braking assist, no steering assist, no DRS assist or pit assist. The hardest form of sim racing there is, in extremely powerful cars, and pretty much all of the drivers using a wheel. We had a fantastic season last season, AMS Fairley coming out on top in the championship. Closely battled to the very end by Ross. Fairley is not returning in this division to challenge for his crown at the as it stands. Whether he decides to come back or not is another matter. So can Ross do one better this season and win the championship? Will it be a newcomer? Someone like Ghost Tomino, someone like Ryan, maybe even someone else on the grid, SLR Connor for instance, he's pretty good as well. Will we see an upset? Will we see a very close title fight, or will it be one way? All of these questions will be answered in the next 13 weeks. Good evening to Aures, Chives, Akaris, Wiggles and Hyper in the chat. Wiggles was here, but his game crashed or something happened with the internet, so he'll try and join back. Fingers crossed he is able to do that. Drivers starting to make their way out onto the track. Good evening to Flu. Wiggles has joined, that is good news. Yes, no rain. Be very surprised if there was rain in a desert, but stranger things have happened. Ghost is fast, I put my money on him. Indeed, we saw a little bit of what he's capable of last season. In fact, on his debut looked very strong for the win, but an unfortunate incident got caught up in, sent him to the back of the field. So yes, I don't want to put too much pressure at this point in the season, but definitely expecting good things out of this man Ghost. We've got Chives out on an outlap first, followed by Ghost. We have FB Uno, who is new to this league this season as well. He's out on an outlap, as is Hyper, Ryan, and that guy. Good evening to you, Snacks. Nice to see you, mate. Snacks is back in the league after a season out. Nice to have you back, mate, and looking forward to your racing. I think you're doing AT2 and F2. So yeah, looking forward to that. Ghost starts his first flying lap of the year. Well, the season. Few days, new wheel. That's interesting. Which one are you getting? If you're new around here and not quite sure about F1 and its format, qualifying is split up into 3 sections. Session 1, as you can see in the top left of your screen, Q1 is 18 minutes long, where the bottom 5, so 20th down to 16th, will drop out. So at the moment it will be just the 3. The bottom 3 will leave us in this session. The remaining 15 will head on to Q2, where a 15-minute session awaits them, where a bit of strategy comes into play. We'll tell you about that in a little bit. We lose 5 more drivers in Q2, leaving just the 10 for Q3 shootout for pole position. We'll have a 5-minute break after Quali finishes before the race starts, and then we'll have a 50% race. It should take around about 45 minutes. Ghost sets the first fastest lap of the evening. That must mean that Chives has invalidated his lap. He was out on track before Ghost, but no time on the board to show for it. Instead, let's go on board with Ryan as he comes up towards the end of Sector 2. Let's say if you are new around here to the league, we have streams on Tuesday night for No Assist with me, the Sun God. On Thursday night we have Assist Tier 1, streamed by Lolza Pro. On Saturday night we will have our F2 League streamed by IIRL. And on Sunday nights we have Assist Tier 2 as Hyper going for a little bit of a spin there in his AlphaTauri. Yeah, Padge will be streaming Assist Tier 2 on Sunday nights. So make sure you join us for any, if not all of those streams. Great racing, I'm sure. And we're going to have a great season. IIRL is looking forward to the F2. We did F2 a few seasons back. So decided to focus on the 3 divisions for a little bit, but we're bringing it back now. And yeah, there's a lot of hype in the league about the upcoming F2 season. So we'll go on a track tour with a Dutchman who we all know very well on this channel, Rev NL. We'll take you around this Bahrain circuit, very heavy braking zone into turn 1, down to 2nd or 3rd gear. Careful on the throttle out of turns 2 and 3, could easily lose the car and spin, and especially watch those curbs as well. You can take a lot of curb into this very twisty section. Turn 4 is trickier than it looks. You can cut the track a little bit into 5 and 6, but don't get too overzealous on the curbs, they will throw you off. Bit of a heavy braking zone, but not quite as challenging as turn 1. A little bit of a slide there out of turn 8 into the very tricky double left of turn 9 and 10. With ABS off, it is tricky. And definitely you will see a few people locking up their brakes. First DRS zone in the middle of the track takes you down towards very long left-hander, and this right-hander with the infamous inside apex known as the curb of death. Onto the last proper challenging corner in sector 3. That right-hander will lead you onto this big straight. No DRS here. But line your car up well for the final corner, which does tighten a little bit on the exit. You get DRS on the run down to the line, and Prev comes through with a 27.6, which puts him just ahead of Kemments, slotting into 3rd. If you've been watching Tuesday night streams on the IRL channel last season, you'll know that I tried out this feature, which I called Featured Driver. I choose one of the drivers, as Mr. Wiggles goes second and Ross goes fourth place. Very competitive at the top there. Featured Driver is designed to put a person behind the wheel rather than just a gamer tag. So obviously you know this is IRossJ driving, but you might not know anything about Ross or what he does in the league. So Featured Driver has been introduced across all 4 divisions this season for you guys to get to know who exactly is driving the car, whether it's behind a wheel or behind a controller. And we tried it out just on Tuesday nights last season. As we say, all 4 divisions are getting involved. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. If you do want to be a featured driver and you haven't signed up yet, look in announcements in Discord. The Google form is there. As we see a car sideways, I think that might be a Williams. Could be FBU now? I think no. I don't know. I don't know who it was. Some blue car was sideways at that point. Tucker getting a nice little slipstream from the Alpine car ahead, who has DRS open, so we'll assume he's on the lap as well. Our featured driver this week is none other than one of the very important people in the league who creates everything practically under the sun to make this league run and work the way it does. IIRL Padge, currently sitting in 12th place. He is our featured driver for tonight. Tucker goes 15th fastest and is currently safe. But SLR Connor is on a lap, an invalid one. He is using the medium compound tyres as well, so his time won't be as quick as it possibly could be. And when Padge comes out of the pits, we'll tell you a little bit more about who Padge is as a person and what he does here in IIRL, because Padge makes a lot of the cogs in this machine tick. Very integral part of the league and a very respected member as well, and an absolute legend. Rooting for prayer for my F2 teammate Ripley. And of course, if you are tuning in from last season, people will be in different cars. Some drivers have maintained their cars. For instance, that guy's still in an Aston Martin. And Tidiest Bear is still in the Williams. Which I think is the 3rd season in a row he's been randomly drawn in the same car. It's actually quite impressive how that's managed to happen. But I think everyone else on the grid is in a different car from last season. Here comes Connor now. This one is clean, and it looks pretty quick across the line. He goes 5th fastest. And should be relatively safe on that time. Hyper's not on a flyer, so we'll join FBU new for the season, so I have no idea how quick or what he's like on the track, so we'll have to find out together. I have to root for Tucker, otherwise he kicks my ass tomorrow. Yes, you two are friends, I gather, so yes, I would say yes, protect your butt and root for Tucker. blank slate for this new season. Doesn't matter how fast or slow you were last season. All that matters is how committed are you to the championship this season. FPU coming into the pits is currently safe in 15th, however his is the time to beat on a 28.6. If Dayman, Tucker or Hyper can beat that time, FPU will drop into the bottom 3. Tidiest Bear on an outlap. We'll join Kemments, I think he's on a flyer. He's invalidated his time. What about Mr. Wiggles? What's he doing? He's out on track and through Sector 2. He's a 10th up. So, looking to break down the barriers, possibly into the 1 minute 26s tonight. Chives has retired in the pits. Thinks his 8th place is good enough to get through to Q2. Of course, in Q1 and Q2, you don't have to, like, you know, be at the top of the very top of the timing screens. You just have to get through to the next session. So Mr. Wiggles does improve by a 10th and drops into the 1 minute 27.2s. Out then with our featured driver. I hope Hype has a great session learning no assist yet. From last season, he has turned his assists off, so you may see him spinning a little bit or making a few mistakes. That's just because he's learning no assists. So everyone who's learnt no assist had to learn at some point, so I'm sure everyone can sympathise and relate to what Hype is going through at the moment. But fingers crossed, he has some good races behind him. So Patch then, he is at the ripe old age of 41. He's from Great Britain. He's using a Thrustmaster TX TM open wheel. I myself use a controller, so this is all Greek to me, but I assume you guys who use the wheels, you know exactly what you're on about. Favourite F1 driver, Lewis Hamilton, with that British following. And favourite track is Hockenheim, the very famous and very popular German track, which unfortunately is not on the calendar anymore. Padge made a slight mistake there through turn 4 and has decided just to back off and go for another run. All the drivers are asked in the featured driver form what their season aspirations are, what they're hoping to achieve by the end of the season. Padge said anywhere in the top 10 will do him. And as for what he does in this league, well, he's got different types of hats on all of the time. Not only is he a driver in no assist tier 1, but he streams the assist tier 2 races on Sunday. He's also a manager, so manages everything in the Discord alongside myself and Ross. He's a dispute steward. He recruits all the new drivers into the league, pretty much. They're all because of Padge, and he does a really good job in typing up a lot of the results from the races onto the website. So Padge certainly does enough to be paid for this, but it is completely voluntary, and we do respect and tip our hats to everything he does for us. Tucker and Hyper have retired, which means they won't make it through to Q2. It's only FBU who is on a lap. Flew in 13th has retired, which means he could potentially be at risk here if Padge, Dayman and have really good laps. FBU can't quite improve on this lap, a couple of hundredths, but he does get in past the finish line for one final lap, should he have enough ERS to make it. As for Padge's strengths on the game, he said his main strength is not crashing. So yeah, expect to see Padge make the checkered flag a lot of times. Dayman has finished in 14th, which means Flu is now safe. Dayman still a little bit of risk here if Padge and Yuno can improve, but Padge has invalidated, so if Yuno can gain a few tenths here, he might make it through to Q2. In race pace, you're setting 1 minute 30s high on practice. I have no idea what that means, but I hope it's good. Yuno is down by a tenth and a bit, so he needs to gain 4 tenths in this final sector alone if he wants to have any hope of getting through to Q2. Using all of the curb on the exit of the final corner, run down to the line. He improves ever so slightly, but not enough to improve his overall time. So Yuno will be joining Tucker and Hyper and leaving us in Q1. Hyper 0.7 up, and I decide to spin low. Well, get all the spins out now. Get them all out your system now, and you can have a good season. We'll be able to stay for the stream, but I hope everyone has a great first race of Season 2. Indeed, we all hope that as well. And we look forward to seeing you, Hissy, out on track as well this season. 82, if I'm not mistaken. So join Hissy. Come and join the streams to watch Hissy on Sundays. An evening, Dayman. How you doing? So you have it. Q1 is over. Just the one person using the medium tyres, SLR Connor, getting through with relative ease, but obviously those medium tyres definitely in the shadow of the soft compound tyres. Ghost finishes the only person in the 26s as it stands. Wiggles, Kemmets, Ryan, Ross, Connor, Prev, Chives, Tidiest Bear up in 9th there. Good showing from him. Cool Assassin, that guy, Ripley, Flu, Dayman and Padge in to Q2. Hyper, Tucker and Yuno dropping out of this qualifying session. So as Q2 gets underway, this is where strategy takes centre stage. Put the tyre graphic up on screen. That is because in Q2, strategy is really the name of the game. For those that make it through to Q3, the top 10, they will have to start the race on the same tyre and same set of tyres that they used to get there. So a lot of people will try and go for the medium compound tyre because they want to start the race on those same tyres. But obviously the mediums are slower than the softs, so you may have to use the softs just to get through to the next part of qualifying. I so hope in the new game the new quali rules are in it. Yeah, me too, mate. Me too. They have taken away that rule for Q2 this season, so you can use whatever tyre you want and you don't have to start the race on it. But for now, these are the rules that we have to that we're so very used to by now. And I hope for the new track layouts. Yeah, definitely we're hoping for those. Spain, Australia, Abu Dhabi. We're all hoping that we get the updated tracks in. Two Ferraris very close on track, may want to be aware that they might be going to give each other a bit of a slipstream down the straight. There's 4 very long straights on this track, so a tow could be useful. If you don't know what a tow is, basically the cars punch a hole in the air aerodynamically, and if you are right behind that car, you get the effects of not having to push your car through that same bit of air, which means you're quicker in a straight line. So it's a way of being faster without having to do too much. Handful of drivers coming around sector 1 now, starting new laps. We've got Ghost, Cool Assassin, Ryan, that guy Flew, Kemments, all on flying laps. We've got Wiggles, Ross, Ripley and Dayman all out on the track, starting their laps as we speak. Ferraris are very close to each other. Ghost, the first of 2 Ferraris. Prev, Tidiest Bear, Chives, Connor and Padge still in the pits, but still plenty of time for them to come out and set a couple of runs on whatever tyres of their choice. Of course, Connor used the mediums to get through to Q2, so we may see him just using soft compound tyres in this session. So don't be too surprised if he's not out on the mediums. A lot of drivers out on the yellow tyres, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. That guy's one of them. Sets the first valid lap time of the session, 28.8. Flew goes 8 tenths faster on the soft compound tyres, and Ghost beats him by a tenth on those medium compound tyres. Ghost is very, very quick tonight, based on what we've seen in the first half of qualifying. Ripley goes 3rd, Wiggles goes 4th, both of them displaced by Ross. It's all very close, all 3 of those drivers posting 1 minute 28.5 lap times. So it's extremely competitive in what I'm going to call the midfield at the moment, but that's going to change in the next few minutes. Dayman a little bit wide at turn 4, and that will invalidate his time. Still plenty of opportunities to go out for another run though, so not the end of the world. What about Kemments? He's just coming to the end of the second DRS zone. Connor, Padge and Assassin all still in the pits. 12 drivers out on track, not massively congested. Ryan goes fastest on those medium tyres as well, so he could be the one to challenge Ghost for provisional pole here tonight. Here comes Kemments. What can he do? He goes 7th fastest, just behind that cluster of drivers on a 28.5. He puts in a 28.6. Regular viewers of IIRL, especially last season, will have noticed that it's not very often we see Tidiest Bear in Q2. So it's really good, showing massive signs of improvement on this game, especially for the new season. Excited to see what Tidiest Bear can do this season. His potential is definitely one to look out for. Currently 9th fastest, just a 10th away from that guy. What about Chives? Chives has good qualifying pace. And according to the track map, it's a purple sector 2. which means he is the fastest of anyone in that middle sector. Let's have a see what the rest of his lap is like as he comes round the final corner now. DRS activated to the line, and he sets a 28.0, so not too far away from the front of the pack. Flew is still up there, but he did use the soft compound tyres, which means he won't have that advantage of putting on faster tyres for his next run. What about Dayman? He's backed off this attempt. Thank you for the follow, BRS Gerard. Appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying the stream. $18 of you watching as I speak. This is Season 2 premiere of IIRL, first round of the new season, Round 1, Bahrain. 13 race season, in case you missed it at the very top of the show. We'll run you through the calendar in the 5-minute break, just so you know what is coming up in the next 4 months. Mediums are hard to push on, says Dayman. So maybe he's just abandoning those tyres. I'm going to go for the Red Mark soft tyres instead. The strategy call on this track, on this game, is an interesting one. Again, we'll tell you about that in the 5-minute break, and maybe in the formation lap as well. But it is going to dictate, your strategy will dictate on what you use in this session to get through to Q3. Call Assassin then, not opting for the yellow mark mediums, instead fitting a matching pair of red tyres to his red car. Comes across the line, and where he's going to put it, he's going to put it fastest by half a second. Very nice there from Called Assassin. We see Ghost fastest last session with a 26.9, so it's only half a second off the best time we've seen tonight. I have to say, decent lap there from Assassin. But we may see the likes of Ryan and Ghost, and maybe Chives as well. Once they if they decide to put on a set of the soft tyres, they may drop near the 26s. SLR Connor, he puts in his own fast sector 2, lighting up the track purple. Where can he put that Red Bull? Well, Connor goes fastest, and that is the fastest time we have seen tonight, a 26.8. Connor has thrown down the gauntlet. He got 5 or 6 pole positions last season, so definitely has what it takes to put that car on the front of the grid. What about Prev? Switching out the Ferrari from last season into the Aston Martin for this season. So a completely new engine, noise and car to get used to. A little bit wide on the exit of turn 11, the long left-hander. May have hurt his time by maybe a tenth or two. And Prev goes third on a 27.8. Cool Assassin into the pits in his Ferrari, where he retires from session. Still 4 minutes remaining. So still opportunities galore for anyone to put their car up into the top 10 and into the next part of Quali. What can Padge do now? No valid lap time set in the session so far. So nothing to compare with this lap. Chives has lagged out, so hopefully he can get back in to the session. He is currently sat in 7th and hasn't set a time on the soft tyres. He's joined straight away, which is good news. Otherwise, his spot in Q3 may have been under threat. Padge's lap looking nice and tidy. Well, as I say that, cuts across the inside of the corner there and gets invalidated as well. Oh, you meant to retire. Not leave the session from Chives. So Padge, that lap doesn't count from his perspective. But he'll go again. That guy is in the drop zone. Remember, positions 11 to 15 will be leaving us in this session. Pressure is on. That guy sets the track map purple. Connor and Cool Assassin retiring early. Their times are good enough, they think, to get them through. Flu has improved from a 28.0 to a 27.6. That guy pops into 4th on a 27.5, quickly replaced by a pairing of Wiggles and Ross, who currently sits 2nd and 3rd. Wiggles seems to have a couple more tenths of pace than his old friend Ross. And everyone is out on track, apart from the two that have retired, Prev, who is in the pits, and Chives, who is in the pits. And Chives' spot in Q3 is very much under threat. His time of 1 minute 28.0 is the one to beat. If any one of these bottom 5 can beat that time, Chives will be leaving us in this session, and Padge comes into the pits as well. No valid lap time from him in this session, and he will be leaving us in Q2. Chives is beaten by someone. I think Clements has improved to 7th place, which means Chives has now been pushed out. Dayman can't beat Chives' time, but got mighty close to it. We'll go for one more run. What about Ripley and Tidiest Bear? Backs are against the wall for them. A little bit wide from Ripley, and that is going to end his qualifying session. Invalid lap time and only 5 seconds to get to the line, which means all the pressure is now on Tidiest Bear. He's a 10th up in Sector 1. So we know 3 of the people leaving this session: Chives, Ripley and Padge. Dayman is on a lap, and so is Tidiest Bear. Ghost could be at risk here. He is on a flying lap as well, so he could still improve. Previs finished in 9th, which means he's not quite safe yet. Wait and see what Tidiest Bear can do through Sector 2 just after these next couple of corners. Ghost comes into the pits, which means his time is now the one to beat, and if someone does beat it, then he will be leaving us in Q2 as well. All eyes on Dayman and Tidiest Bear. Can they make it through to Q3 on the Season 2 opener? A little bit wide from Tidiest Bear at the final corner, and that's what you get. Just on the curb and around you go. Very unfortunate. Looked like a good lap there from Tidiest Bear. And just like that, all the effort you've put in is unfortunately gone. Dayman didn't go for another lap in the end. He finished less than just over a 10th away from safety, and Tidiest Bear heads into the pits after that spin. So we have it, Q2 is over. And only one of the top 10, Ghost Tomino, has used the medium compound tyres to go through. That means on the start, wherever Ghost qualifies, he will be using medium compound tyres, and the rest of the top 10 will be using softs. As for Chives, Dayman, Ripley and Tidy's Bear and IRL Padge, they have a free tyre choice come the race because they qualified outside of the top 10. So top 10 shootout, we have Ghost, Prev, Flu, Kemments, that guy, and the top 5 Brits, Ryan, Called Assassin, Ross, Wiggles, and SLR Connor, who has posted the quickest time we have seen tonight so far. And as Q3 starts, strategy takes a back seat, raw pace takes over. 10 drivers, 1 pole position. Who is going to start the season in the best possible way, putting their car at the very front of the grid, giving themselves the best opportunity to win the race. Already, we have an Aston Martin of Prev coming out of the pits onto the track, getting a nice head start on the field. Nice flurry of drivers coming out for the first Q3 session of the season. Prev, Kemments, Flu, that guy Ryan, Ghost, Connor, 7 drivers taken to the track very quickly in succession. Ross got a nice bit of track position behind those first 7 drivers. And Mr. Wiggles and Called Assassin still in the pits as we speak. So Prev will be the first one to come round and start a lap. Then we have Ryan, closely followed by the Red Bull of SLR Connor. And we have the Ferrari of Ghost, followed by the Alfa Romeo of Flu. The second Aston Martin of that guy will be next. And we have Kemments, Ross, Called Assassin in Sector 2 and Mr. Wiggles. So then what can Prev do? Nice and planted through the little S section. Short shift into third. Planting the revs on the exit. Avoiding a lockup. Making sure he's not turning and braking at the same time. That's what causes the lockups. As well as your setup. Taking as much curb as he can through 11. Avoiding the inside of turn 12. Nicely done. Onto the straight leading up to the final corner. Looks a nice healthy bit of curb but not too much. Seems to be on the throttle nicely. First lap of Q3, it's a 27.5. Ryan does a 27.8. SLR Connor goes 1 second faster than anyone else, but also Ghost Tomino sets a 26.5 I bet Ghost would have went round thinking, oh, I've got pole here. SLR Connor just pipped in there with a quicker time. Clements, 27.0 for him. He puts his car third on the grid. Ross is in fourth. Prev out-qualifying his teammate, that guy. He's in sixth. Ryan in seventh and flew 1 millisecond quicker than a 1 minute 28. Cool Assassin and Wiggles are still on still on flying laps here. That is extremely quick there from Connor and Ghost. Quickest lap time we saw before that was a 26.8. Now both of them have stepped up their game and immediately set 26.5 lap times. What about Cool Assassin? He comes across the line. He dips into the 26s, which means that he is third on the grid. Mr. Wiggles says he is in a Red Bull, but he's not. He invalidated his first lap time, so it won't count. So we have nice little fights through the fields. We've got Connor and Ghost having a nice little fight for first. Then we've got Assassin and Clements very close. We've got Ross and Prev very close. And then we've got that guy Ryan and Flewell very close. Lots of close battles to watch out for, seeing where people can pick up just, even if it's half a tenth, it could put you ahead of someone else. So your second lap is really going to count here. You need to make sure that you don't invalidate. You need to make sure that you stay off the curbs, avoid spinning, avoid any small unnecessary mistakes like trying to push too hard or overdriving the car perhaps. Everyone coming into the pits. Here comes Mr. Wiggles. A 27.8 puts him in the very heart of that 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th fight. Prev went for another run, but decided to back off in the end, and into the pits he comes. DSQ Wiggles, he has no helmet. I did see that. Fingers crossed, all the bugs on this game will be fixed for next game. I think we've all had enough of them. And hello, Golden Egg. Returning to the league. Well, returning to the league's Discord. Good to see you. It's been quite a while, my friend. Four minutes left of the session, plenty of time for people to come out, but they are starting to filter back onto the track. That guy out on track now, SLR Connor through Sector 2 as well. Got the Alfa Romeo of Flew coming up to the top left-hand side of your track map. We've got the Ferrari of Ghost coming through Turn 1, as well as Ryan in the AlphaTauri. And we've got the McLaren of Ross coming out of the pits as we speak, and the second Aston Martin of Prev also coming out. We may see two Aston Martins try to tow each other here, as that guy comes around the final corner to start his first flying lap of the end of the session. Evening to you, Josh. Hope you're well, mate. Josh, another newcomer to the league. Excited to see what he can achieve. Cameron's had to be very wary not to get in the way of that guy. oh, not quite sure what's happened there. I think that guy's backed off. I think Prev may have wanted to give him a slipstream, but I don't think that guy was on the same page. Thank you for the follow, Oscar Williams. Appreciate that, mate. Hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Very ending of qualifying usually comes up with something exciting. Could SLR Connor increase and improve his grip on provisional pole? Ferrari of Ghost, his main pole position title, pole position challenger here tonight. Very close to getting in the way, but did move out of the way. May have distracted Connor, but didn't block him, didn't impede him. That's what we like to see from the drivers. Sportsmanship and fair play. Connor is 2/10 up in the middle sector, which means this could be a 26.3 and across the line, and it is a 26.3. It's a very good lap, and Ghost knows as he comes around to start his flying lap, he knows exactly what he needs to do if he wants pole position. Everyone out on the track now, all 10 drivers. Someone's just improved. Flew has improved up to 7th. He does a 27.5. What about Kemmons? He's almost a 10th up in Sector 1. Ryan then improves to a 27.1. He jumps up from the bottom up to 5th. That's a nice lap from him. But still plenty of drivers on laps. Ross drops into the 26s and puts his McLaren on the second row of the grid. P3 for him. This drops Kemmons down to 5th place and off of the second row. He needs a 26 if he wants to get back in the top 2 rows. And through Sector 2 he's 2/10 up, so he's in a good position here to go back into 3rd place if he can get a good final sector. Ghost is also on a flying lap and is directly behind Kemmons, so we'll check in with how Ghost is doing in a second. Ghost is on a stonker, says Dayman. Well, Kemmons does drop into the 26s and Ghost is 3/10 up, and he goes a 10th faster than SLR Connor and puts his Ferrari on the front of the grid as it stands. What about Cool Assassin? He's on a lap as well. Can it be a Ferrari 1-2 perhaps? Or could it be Ghost ruining Connor's party? I think Connor is on another lap, so we'll have to watch out for him if he comes across the line very shortly. Cool Assassin, see what he can do. Checkered flag has fallen. Wiggles didn't improve his time, but could have gone for another run. Brian is into the pits, so he will finish in 6th place at best. Cool Assassin misses out on a PB by 1 millisecond. That's very unfortunate. Ross improves his grip on, in fact he goes above Kemmons into 3rd. So good lap there from Ross. A lot of progression from him. SLR Connor is a 10th up in Sector 1. It's not been a massively dramatic qualifying right until the last couple of minutes, where all these lap times are falling. 2 cars going slowly there, so they won't be able to improve their time. I think there might have been Ghost as one of them, so Ghost cannot fight back here. Whatever Connor does will either be 1st or 2nd on the grid. Kemmons takes 3rd place back from Ross with a nice lap of 1 minute 26.7, and SLR Connor leads a little bit more from this last sector if he wants to get pole position back. Across the line it's going to be mighty close, and he misses out by 7 milliseconds. Can you believe it? 7 milliseconds separates the top 2. Here comes Mr. Wiggles across the line, and he puts his Haas into 5th place. Nice lap there under pressure from Mr. Wiggles. Wow. Wow. Wowzers. Super close. I mean, look at the gaps between Ghost and Connor, between Clements and Ross, between Wiggles and Assassin, between Ryan and Flew. It is very competitive here this evening. And could this set up a very, very competitive season in the no assist division? Bragging rights though, first qualifying session of season 2 of IIRL goes to Ghost Tomino. Congratulations, Ghost. Commiserations to SLR Connor. 7 thousandths of a second, 7 milliseconds separating the top 2. Clements and Ross, as we said, very close there on row 2 of the grid, 3rd and 4th. Mr. Wiggles and Cool Assassin, 5th and 6th. Alpha Tauri of Ryan in 7th and the other, and Alfa Romeo of Flew in 8th. The 2 Aston Martins into the top 10, but we'll be starting 9th and 10th on the grid. 2 Red Bulls in the top 3. We did say in the reveal stream last week that could be a very good team. The Ferraris look a good team, the Aston Martins look decent as well. Could Red Bull be hinting at a strong Constructors' Challenge for the season? Well, in 5 short minutes we're going to find out. We have a 5-minute break here between the end of Quali and the race, where we ask the drivers not to ready up. They can choose their tyre strategies, their fuel loads, whatever it is they need to do to give them the best opportunity at winning. We did say in the 5-minute break we will take you through the calendar for this season. As we said, it is a shorter season, 13 races instead of the usual 20, 23, 24. Which hopefully will take us up to the new release of the new F1 game in the summertime. But I can tell you the calendar, in case you're not in the Discord and you're not quite sure what it is. Obviously, round 1 is Bahrain. We then head to Imola next week, where we will have a sprint race format. We'll tell you more about that next week. Moving on. Excuse me, hiccups decided to interrupt me. Portugal is round 3, followed by Spain, then France, Austria, which is a sprint race format as well, Britain at Silverstone, then we have Belgium, Italy, that is Monza, followed by Japan, and the final 3 races of the season are Brazil, which was the most voted for track. So a lot of people like the Brazilian track, and that will be a sprint race format as well. Followed by the final 2 races of Saudi Arabia in Jeddah and Abu Dhabi to finish off the season. Those are our 13 races in the season. About the sprint race, what will be the distance? Okay, so seeing as you have questions, we'll answer them now. So we will, instead of having a full qualifying session, we will be having a short qualifying session, so 18 minutes. Yeah, so short quali, 18 minutes, and that will decide the grid for a 25% race. A 25% race will happen. First place will get 3 points in the championship, second place will get 2 points, and third place will get 1 point. And the ending of that 25% race will set the grid for a 50% race. So you'll have an 18-minute quali, followed by a 25% race, and then a 50% race. That is the sprint race format. That's the best that's the most accurate we can get to real life. how they do their sprint race format. Didn't they change the sprint race? Oh yeah, they did do that actually. We'll have to have a... refers to it. Yeah, we'll have to have a chat about that at management. We've been sorting a lot of the season out. I think that's just been forgotten. So we'll have a chat at management, and next week we'll get an answer to you. But yeah, certainly some points are are up for offer on the sprint race. As for F2, it's a little bit different. You've got a quali session which is 30 minutes long, and then you have a feature race and a sprint race. And we will be getting away in just 30 seconds time. Having everyone? Yep. Indeed, Tucker, and yourself as well. Hope the race goes well for all drivers here tonight. We could see everything here. One thing we're probably not going to see is rain. But no surprise here in Bahrain. Ironically, no rain in Bahrain. Don't disappoint me. So as the drivers get off the line for the formation lap, there is your grid on the left hand side of the screen. And here are the tyres that they are using. Ghost, well, as we know, got through to Q3 on the medium compound tyres. It was close, but he did make it through, which means he will start the race on those yellow marked compound tyres. But he's going to be under threat from the Red Bull duo of Connor and Clements, who are both on soft tyres. All of the top 10, apart from Ghost, have to start on soft compound tyres due to the Quali 2 rule. But from 11th place down to 18th, they are on a free choice of tyre and a brand new set. So Chives is on mediums, the two Mercedes of Dayman and Ripley in 12th and 13th. They're on soft compound tyres. And the bottom 5 all on medium tyres. You might think, what's the difference? Well, soft tyres, they give more grip. They don't last as long because they use their grip quicker, but they do give more grip, which means off the start you are going to have a better start on the red mark soft compound tyres. So look out for Connor and Clements, and maybe Ross as well, off the start. Ghost is going to have a pretty good getaway to make sure that he gets down to turn 1 still in lead of the race. And we have a car at the back dropping away quite a bit. Could be FBU now actually. Accidentally unplugged his wheel and spun on the formation lap, he tells us, so yes, very unfortunate. Hopefully it doesn't cause the driver's tyres to cool down too much. So let's get your predictions in the chat. Who's going to be on the podium? What do you think? It's been very close between Ghost and Connor. It's been very close between Clements and Ross. Could it be someone from outside of the top 10? Maybe someone like Chives, who didn't use the soft tyres in Q2. Could he be a one to charge through the fields and end up on the podium? So then, start of the new season is here, and Ghost leads us away on lap 1 here in Bahrain. Looks like he's got a decent start. Looks like Connor is going side by side with his teammate Kemmons. We've got an Alfa Romeo going up the inside, and also we have SLR Connor up the inside of Ghost. They are side by side through turn 3, and Ross has had a mighty start round the outside of Kemmons into turn 2, and he is up into 3rd place. But SLR Connor has used those soft tyres to his advantage and gained the lead of the race here on lap 1. Ross looks very racy behind Ghost, and he is looking to get himself on the podium, if not win this whole race. Very clean start. A couple of people going side by side. Ryan and Cool Assassin, Chives and Prev all going side by side. Very compact and close in this midfield. Very fascinating how this start of the season has started. Almost seeing a bit of front wing go from Dayman, but avoids contact with the back of Chives' Alfa Romeo car there. FB Uno, nice start up into 13th. Flu has been our big sufferer at the moment. He's down to 15th place. Hyper is a couple of seconds behind the pack, so he's had a bad lap 1 from his perspective. Connor with the dub indeed. And FB Uno is out. He's crashed. What's happened there? Oh, that's a nasty one. I think he's probably got on the inside curb there at the right-hander and is in the barrier. Will there be a safety car? Yellow flag is out. Connor sets the fastest lap. Already has a 1 second lead over Ross, who has got past Ghost in the last couple of moments. And the car is gone from the track. There is no safety car, no virtual safety car either. No DRS until lap 3, of course, so this is just drivers jockeying for position in this early phase of the race. Will Ross be able to get within 1 second of SLR Connor? Remember, if you're within a second of the car in front, in the DRS zones, you can open the rear wing on your car and it will gain you extra straight line speed, which improves your chance at overtaking the car in front. Ross a little bit wide there through turn 10. Saw how wide he got, and he lost almost a whole second to SLR Connor just in that corner. So his back is now against the wall. Oh, as Ghost has lost it! Oh, he's lost it and he's out of the race. How unfortunate for Ghost. He just saw he lost the back end. He tried to correct it. The car went into the barrier, and that is all she wrote. Ghost is gone. There's a virtual safety car out on the end of lap 2. If you're not sure what virtual safety car is, they have a certain delta. There's a strict lap time that they have to adhere to. It's going to be slower than normal, so they can move that car. And if you speed when the safety car ends, which it has done now, then you will get a drive-through penalty, so you need to make sure you don't speed. Cool Assassin and Prev have pitted under that virtual safety car, which theoretically does save you a bit of time in the pits, but they'll lose a massive amount of time when they come out of the pits, as you can see on your track map now. And during that virtual safety car, Connor has lost a second, but Ross again going wide. Ross was putting a lot of pressure on Connor there. Connor lost a good 1.5 seconds, or second and a bit in the virtual safety car. His delta was too positive, if anything. And as it stands, he lost a chunk of time, but Ross has gifted that time back a few moments ago. That guy is falling down the field slightly, lost a few positions in the early portions. 3 people pitting under safety car. Hyper has joined Assassin and Prev onto a new set of medium compound tyres. Remember, you have to use 2 different compounds of tyre in the race if it is a dry race. That guy comes into the pits, and I think he may have to pit for a front wing change. Yeah, had a feeling that was why he was losing ground. Tidy is Bear losing out a place to Ripley. Padgett into the top 10. He's had a good start. From his perspective, Chives has come up from 11th to 6th. Good start from him. And hello to you, Ghost Tomino in the chat. Very unfortunate. We did see what happens. Just a little bit of oversteer. Very easy to do, especially when you're following a car in front of you so close. You can easily lose the car a little bit. But a very impressive pole for you, Ghost. You must be thrilled with the pole. But it is a 13 race season. The season cannot be decided today. Plenty of opportunities and races left to claw back some grounds. SLR Connor leads on lap 5 and sets a new fastest lap of the race. He leads by 1.3 seconds to Ross. Kemmets is behind him and does have his rear wing open, as you can see on our screen. That means that Kemmets is almost on the back of that McLaren wing. Ross gets a mighty exit out of turn 3 though, and will stay ahead of this very quick pack, including Kemmets, Wiggles and Ryan. Chives is a few seconds behind this group. He is on the medium compound tyres, which at this stage in the race is a little bit slower. He has a nice healthy margin of 5 seconds back to Dayman, who is in 7th. Flew is in 8th. Improving on his poor start on lap 1. He's back into the points and closing that gap to Dayman. Ripley, Dayman's teammate, is in 9th. Padge and Tidy as Bear, the two Williams, are following Ripley and trying to get both of those Williams into the points. Wiggles a little bit wide there, and could find himself under big pressure from Ryan in a couple of corners' time. Tackle for Life's in 12th and under pressure from Cool Assassin. As we speak, Cool Assassin does get past. Nice three-way fight happening for 12th. Cool Assassin is fighting Tucker and Prev as these drivers look to break the slipstream, stop the advantage that the car behind has. And Ross here, he's defending well. As it stands, he's not getting any closer to SLR Connor in front. Mr. Wiggles down the inside of Kemmets. I have to say, that was very ballsy, and it worked. He's up into 3rd. This then has given Ross a little bit of respite. Ryan all over the back of Kemmets' Red Bull. All of this as well. Chives is bringing that gap down. It was 3 seconds, it's now 2.4. So can Chives get in on the action as that guy sets a new fastest lap of the race? And someone's gone wide. I think that's Chives in the background. He would have lost a little bit of time on this pack. Mr. Wiggles has done very well. Popped his Haas up into 5th place in qualifying right at the very dying moments. Oh, as into the back of Wiggles goes Kemmets under braking. Just trying to brake as late as he can. And he's cost Wiggles a big chunk of time. I wonder if there's any damage on Kemmets or Wiggles' car. Chives is now up into 5th. Ryan has obviously gone past Kemmets up into 3rd. That's a big talking point. Don't know exactly what happened, whether Wiggles broke earlier than normal or Kemmets broke later than normal, but definitely a little bit careless to run into the back of someone like that. And that may have given Kemmets some damage as he slides out of turn 8. Connor leads this race by 3.3 seconds. Ross has a bit of respite from that pack of wolves behind him, but he still has Ryan knocking on the door, trying to fight within that 1 second window that will give him DRS on the big straights. Kemmets is still in fourth after that slight bit of contact. Oh, and as we say, he's gone for a bit of a spin. Thankfully the wheel is not off the car and he's not out of the race, but he has got damage. He will have to pit to replace it. So Chives is now up into fourth place with a time penalty. Ross pits from second, as does Wiggles, and Kemmets quite clearly coming into the pits to fix some damage, which means Dayman is now up into fourth place. He is followed by his teammate Ripley in fifth. Two Williams having a nice little fight here. Padge and Tidy as Bear. Rule number one, don't crash into your teammate, of course. Padge making sure that he didn't collect any bits of carbon fibre on the car in front. Tidy is Bear up into sixth place now. Of course, the top seven all do have to pit. Ross is out of the pits in eighth place and finds himself in a nice little gap where he can put the hammer down and try and get what we call an undercut on SLR Connor. Undercut basically means you pit before your challenger, your rival. You have the new rubber on the car, which means you can go faster. And by the time your rival comes out of the pits for their pit stop, you would have either gained time or gained the place. That is what Ross is hoping for. So Ross has gone from the soft to the medium compound tyres. Ryan comes into the pits now in response to Ross's pit stop, but SLR Connor stays out, hoping perhaps for a one-stop tonight. In comes Ripley from fifth place. Tidy's Bear and Padge now occupy fourth and fifth. Oh, and Tidy's Bear's lost it. Tidy's Bear spinning at turn 3. He's not out, but he is wounded, and that Williams car could very well have some damage. Mr. Wiggles now has Tucker for life behind him, goes past Tidy's Bear. Mr. Wiggles in 8th place. Ross was a second ahead of Ryan before the pit stops. Now Ross is 2.4 ahead of Ryan, so that pit stop one lap earlier has benefited Ross 1.5 seconds. And two long-time friends, Ross and Padge. Two main wheels in the IIRL cog. No, that's the other way around. The two main cogs in the IIRL wheel going side by side. In comes SLR Connor for his pit stop. He comes out of the pits, and this could be close between Ross and Connor. No, Connor is still out in the net lead of this race. Wiggles with the fastest lap of the race. Chives leads by 10 seconds for today, man. But both of them have to pit again, of which neither will come out of the pits in first as it stands. We're also expecting Padge into the pits, Tidy's Bear into the pits, and Tucker into the pits for a mandatory pit stop. And we have Tucker going very slowly out of turn 3, going for a bit of a spin. Prev, bit of contact there with Tidiest Bear. Prev is on newer tyres. Prev a little bit wide there into turn 10. Has given an opportunity for Tidiest Bear to get back past. And he has the DRS, which is very helpful for the Williams car. Prev, a little bit of a shove. Unintentional looks like. Ripley is now up past Flew. And Ripley going around the outside of Prev. And, well, Ripley is ripping his way through the field, so to speak. He's up now into 9th place. Prev is getting in on the action. He's past Tidiest Bear, who's got very old tyres on his car. Dayman into the pits, where he will be losing positions to his teammate, to Prev, to Flew, to Tidiest Bear and to Kemmons. And Dayman comes out in 13th place. Three drivers on time penalties. Those time penalties will be added onto the end of their finishing time. So it is important in these races that you keep time penalties to an absolute minimum. As Padge has been caught and overtaken by Ryan on a new set of medium tyres. Padge here could very well be going for a one-stop. Question is, will it be a medium to hard or a medium to soft? We'll have to wait and see. Back at this very interesting fight for 9th. Prev defending hard from Flew. Tidiest Bear just a second behind, as Kemmons and Dayman in his rearview mirrors. Prev trying to break that slipstream. But it's not enough. Flew is up into 9th. And Kemmons is now past Tidiest Bear for 11th. You can just see in the background Red Bull is now ahead of the Williams. Flew maintaining 9th ahead of Prev through turn 4 as Tidiest Bear picks up a time penalty. Tucker is into the pits for the first time. And he puts on a new set of medium compound tyres, so Tucker will be going for a 2-stop. We'll have to use a different compound of tyre in the last portion of the race. Chives is still leading this race, leads by 12 seconds, but that gap is reducing. Was 14 seconds a few laps ago, is now 12.5 seconds. SLR Connor with new tyres on his car is chipping away at that lead, but Chives does need to come in for a pit stop. Ross is 2 seconds behind SLR Connor, but it's 3 seconds ahead of Ryan. Padge yet to pit, currently running in 5th place, and has Cool Assassin behind in 6th, trying to charge him down the extra life that he has in his medium compound tyres. Mr. Wiggles is in 7th place after a bit of contact with Kemmons. Ripley, the only driver out there on soft compound tyres right now, he's in 8th place and wants to close that gap to Mr. Wiggles to less than 4.2, which it currently is. Then we have this battle, which we've been following for a couple of laps now. Flew defending hard from Prev, and now Kemmons, who has closed the gap to Flew and Prev. Dayman and Tidiest Bear going side by side through turn 4. Dayman getting the best of Tidiest Bear, who is yet to pit. That guy's in 14th, Hyper's in 15th on his first competitive race on no assists. Tucker for Life is in 16th and currently last. So we know, work on my race consistency for next race. Always have a nice day, mate. Bye. Yeah, good to see you, mate. Great pole position. And yeah, just practice for next time. I'm sure we'll get a good race very shortly. Chives pits from the lead, and he's onto a set of hard compound tyres where he will spend the rest of the race. Question is, where will he come out of the pits? It's been a mighty stint from Chives, very consistent and quite clearly very quick. As Padge comes into the pits too, Chives coming out of the pits in a nice little fight with Cool Assassin, who almost looked like he was going to lose it through turn 3. Anyways, Connor now does get the lead back of the race. Ross is in second and still 2 seconds behind. Ryan is 3.6 now behind Ross. And then we have Chives, who has just made a pit stop. Lap 14 of 29, we're halfway through the Bahrain Grand Prix, round 1 of 13 on this brand new season of IRL. First of 4 streams this week. Join us on Thursday for Assist Tier 1, Saturday night for F2, and Sunday night for Assist Tier 2 in the F1 division. We've seen some decent fights on track. One of them is still happening. Flew defending hard from Prev, and Kemmons for 8th place. After Padge's pit stop, all of these 3 now up into the points. Padge is getting past that guy and Tidy's Bear as we speak. I think Tidy's Bear's gone for a bit of a spin in Sector 2. I think maybe the life is up on those mediums. See ya, Chris. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate all the new follows this week. In the last week we got a brand new 6 followers, up to 321 now. Appreciate all the support you guys have been dropping in the last number of months. Tidy's Bear does indeed pit from 14th onto a new set of hard compound tyres, where he will be on the rest of the race. Kemmons looking very racy behind Prev here. Kemmons does need to be a little bit cautious here. He has already run into the back of Mr. Wiggles, I'm sure accidentally. But he doesn't want to repeat that here against Prev, otherwise his hope for points may well and truly be over. Dayman's only 3 seconds behind this pack, so still within striking distance of the points. Flew here doesn't have ERS or DRS to defend from Prev and Kemmons' Red Bull. Kemmons had to back off of Prev there. Wide line for Flew in turn 4 didn't help him, but didn't hinder him either. Prev staying in 9th. And Kemmons looking for a good exit out of turn 8 to try and set him up for a possible move in this DRS zone. These 3 have been fighting for quite a while. Flew gets really good traction out of these corners. Kemmons and Prev both with DRS. Kemmons with a switchback. Not quite close enough to the Aston Martin's wheels to be fully alongside, but still worth the go. Trying to overtake on the switchback manoeuvre. that guy with a time penalty. He's currently sat in 13th place and right behind Padge in the Williams. And here comes round 2. Flew gets really good exits off of these corners, and at the moment is saving him from being overtaken by this dynamic duo. Bit of a slide there from Prev. Prev, I like to call the league's best defender, knows exactly what he needs to do to keep a car behind. Thing is, right now he doesn't want to be defending from Clements, he wants to be attacking the Alfa Romeo car in front. He wants Flew, the Frenchman, behind him. Clements makes a small mistake, loses a couple of tenths, which means Prev has a little bit of respite here. Might have a good opportunity here to close that gap to Flew in the next couple of corners. Prev is on older tyres by 5 laps. Mr. Wiggles comes into the pits, lap 18 of 29. And Mr. Wiggles is ditching those medium tyres and is putting on a set of medium tyres to finish the race. Chives, great race from him. He's up in 4th place. He started in 11th and had a great stint on those medium tyres to start the race. He's now on hard tyres. Has a lot of tyre advantage on the cars in front, and towards the end of the race we are going to see Chives start to close that 4-second gap to Ryan. But for now he's having a sterling, very good race indeed, up into 4th. Cool Assassin is not too far behind Chives, but needs to push a little bit harder if he wants to get within DRS range. Ripley's in 6th place, the only one on the soft compound tyres right now, having a nice little stint, cementing his spot in P6. SLR Connor, meanwhile, still 2 seconds ahead of Ross. Those two have been matching identical pace for the last 8 or so laps. Mr. Wiggles is ahead of that guy now, up into 11th place after his pit stop. Cool Assassin comes into the pits, 15 laps on those medium compound tyres. Prev is now going to hit 15 laps on those same set of tyres, and he indeed comes into the pits to accompany Cool Assassin and Ripley. So Cool Assassin onto the soft tyres for the final stint, and Prev is also onto the mediums alongside Ripley. So Cool Assassin here has a nice opportunity not only to get fastest lap if he can push, but to try and close that gap to Dayman. It's currently 5 seconds. He has Mr. Wiggles behind him on a new set of mediums. So this fight between Cool Assassin and Wiggles could be one to watch out for. Here comes Clements, still on the back of Flew. These two have not stopped going at it for the best part of 10 or 15 laps now. Very good fight to start the new season with. Problem is, Flew has not had DRS pretty much this entire time, which means he's going to be using more of his battery. As you can see, when it flashes red, you are below, I think it's 25 or 20%. Flew comes into the pits, Clements stays out, so Flew could be looking for his own little undercut here. Smart move there from Flew, actually. Puts the pressure on Clements now to have a really quick lap. Otherwise there's no hope that Clements or get ahead of Flew once Clements comes out of the pits. Still 10 laps left in this race, still plenty of opportunities for people to improve on their place. Clements is on old tyres, the top 3 all on old mediums. Will they all be pitting again? Chives doesn't need to pit again. He's on those hard tyres till the end of the race, and he's got a beautiful 15-second gap to Clements behind, so Chives is pretty much assured, barring a mistake of course, P4 at the very least. But if these top 3 decide to take a pit stop, could find Chives on the podium in 9 short laps. Connor starts lap 21 and he has a 1.8 second lead on Ross. These two have been lapping almost identical lap times since they have come out of their pits onto their medium compound tyres. Here comes Call Assassin. Routine move there. Those are the effects of brand new softs versus old mediums. Call Assassin up into 6th, and he has 5 seconds to gain on Clements ahead if he wants to get up into the top 5. Here comes Padge now. He doesn't need to pit again, he's on hard tyres till the end, but neither do the 2 drivers in front of him, Ripley and Mr. Wiggles. Padge, our featured driver, has had a nice race, currently sitting in the points, has a 3-second time penalty to his name, or 6 seconds, my bad, which means as it stands he's going to lose places to Prev and Flew behind. But still, nothing is guaranteed at this stage in the race. Mr. Wiggles has capitalised on a small error from Dayman. He's lost a second on Call Assassin. As a result, Mr. Wiggles is past Dayman the Irishman. Nice fight between Tucker and Hyper. Tucker just running wide there at turn 8, allowing Hyper a move past the McLaren. Tucker will have DRS, trying to fight back. Battle isn't for any points in the race, but still lovely to see fights going on up and down the fields. Gap out front is slowly but surely starting to reduce as Hyper gets a time penalty and runs a little bit wide at the penultimate corner. Tucker is alongside Hyper and has completed the overtake. And here comes Hyper, hopping back into 15th place. I have to say, learning no assist is not easy, as Tucker, running just a little bit wide there, gets the 3-second time penalty. Never easy learning no assists, and have massive respect for all of these drivers throughout the course of the whole season. A little bit of a wiggle there from Hyper, just losing a little bit of traction. gap up front was 1.5 seconds, it's now back up to 1.7. Ross trying his hardest on slightly older tyres to try and reduce that gap out front. It's just gone back up to 2 seconds now, so Connor is starting to crank up the pace a little bit. A little bit of contact there from Hyper. Tucker using the inside line to defend. These two are about to get lapped by 5th place Kemments and 6th place Cool Assassin, who just picks up a time penalty, does the Ferrari. And Cool Assassin had 5-second gap to close to Kemments. It's now less than a second. And you better believe we're going to be having a good fight here between Kemments and Assassin. These two very good drivers. Cool Assassin swapping out the Alpine from last season in the Ferrari this time around. Seems to be loving it, having a good race. And not over yet. Possible 5th. That gap between Chives and Ryan is starting to close. With 5 laps left, Chives does have a time penalty which will massively hinder his chances at getting on the podium. But that gap is reducing. It was around 3.5, 3.7 seconds. It's now down to 2.3 in the last 3 or 4 laps. Cool Assassin is all over the back of Kemments here. Problem is, for Assassin, the longer he is being held up by Kemments, trying to overtake, the more time that Mr. Wiggles behinds can gain on the pair of them. Nice move there. What we call the switchback. Start on a wider line. Cut back onto the inside line. Get a good traction out of the corner. And make the move done. And there are the benefits of brand new soft tyres for you. Look at how much traction he gained out of turn 2 and 3. You can just be so much more confident on the throttle. Kemments is down to 6th and has a 2-second gap on the closing Mr. Wiggles. Patch having a nice little fight with Flu. Just dropped out of DRS range. Flu is on newer medium tyres than Padge's Hard, so Flu has a tyre advantage right now. Gap between Chives and Ryan has now gone down by another half a second. Chives is only 1.8 behind. He carries this on. He will get within DRS range. I'm not sure he'll jump up onto the podium just because he has that time penalty next to his name. Overall though, it's been a great race from this man Chives. Chives struggled a lot last year with retirements, especially early from races, making slight mistakes that have led to retirements and DNFs, spins and early pit stops. And bar that time penalty he's got next to his name, can't really say he's done anything wrong here. Definitely a contender for driver of the day. A little bit wide there at the penultimate corner, but doesn't get another time penalty for it. Thaddeus Bear getting lapped by Ryan. That gap is now down to 1.4 seconds. Chives is cranking the wheel, trying to get that gap down as quickly as he can before the end of the race. It's now 1.1 seconds. Chives using a lot of his battery on the main straight, and he's within DRS range of Ryan in the AlphaTauri. This could be a very close fight at the end of the race. We've also got Mr. Wiggles lining up a move, a routine move down the main straight on Kemments. Kemments now finds himself in 7th. Mr. Wiggles having a great race from his perspective. Especially, he has no time penalties next to his name. Last season he did struggle with that quite a lot, but today he's got that spot on. No penalties for him. Now Chives doesn't have the DRS. Ryan has gained a crucial 10th or 2 in that middle sector. That has allowed him a bit of breathing room. Gap out front is 2.2 seconds. Those two have been so consistent here tonight. Nothing to separate them. Well, apart from 2.2 seconds, of course. Ryan is in 3rd and looks on set to keep it, even though Chives is pushing super hard now. Ryan running out of battery. Chives has the DRS. This is crucial. He's going to gain a lot to the back of that Honda-powered car, as that guy in 13th gets another time penalty. Chives is now where he wants to be, in the DRS range of Ryan. But I don't think there's going to be enough laps for him to get on the podium. What Chives wants, of course, is Ryan to get a 3-second time penalty. Oh, whoops. So that then Chives, all he needs to do is just overtake him. But if Ryan can keep his car on the straight and narrow, on the grey stuff, don't cut any corners, don't run wide, he should have a podium. There are still a couple of laps left of this race. Connor is onto the back straight now, leads Ross by 2.2 seconds. 1 lap and a corner remaining for the leading 4 cars. They're all on the same straight. That's how close they actually are. They're all on the same straight. These top 4, their pace have been very good, especially Chives. Bit of a wiggle out of the final corner, but he should be close enough to make a move here. Up into 3rd, he's gaining all the time, has the rear wing open. Ryan running out of battery. Chives up into 3rd. He does have the 3-second time penalty. Cool Assassin is in 5th. He has a time penalty, and Mr. Wiggles is only 3.0 seconds behind. So Mr. Wiggles here could be in with a good shot of jumping up into 5th place. It's a very dramatic end of this first race of the season. Multitude of time penalties towards the lower end of the field, but nothing that should affect points too much. The only person who could maybe steal the point is Flew, who's looking to get past Prev on time penalties come the end of the race. Everyone else is pretty much split by nothing. Big gaps throughout the field is what I meant to say. Lap 29 of 29. Ross has just backed off slightly. He knows the race is done. Here comes SLR Connor. It's been a very consistent drive from SLR Connor. Missed out on pole position by 7 milliseconds to Ghost Tomino, who unfortunately retired in the first couple of laps. Oh, Ross, what's happened to Ross? Has he run out of fuel? What has happened to Ross? I think Ross might have just run out of fuel, and that has given Ryan 2nd place. We'll have to get confirmation, but Ross definitely dropped off in the last couple of corners, and Ryan is up into 2nd. Chives, although he finished ahead of Ryan, misses out on the podium by 1.3 seconds due to a time penalty. Cool Assassin comes home to finish 5th. Mr. Wiggles in 6th. Kemet's in 7th after those two made some contact earlier in the race. Ripley is in 8th place. And Prev will lose out on 9th place. And he will finish in 11th. Dayman and Flu nipping them to the finish line. Page in 12th. That guy 13th. Tidy's Bear 14th. And Ross, I'm hearing, had a puncture. Ross got a puncture on the last lap, and that is why he was very slow at the very death, and that has cost Ross 3 championship points. Wow, desperately unlucky there from Ross, but we did see those top 3, they were on those medium tyres for a long time. Still has a podium to show for it, Ross. So there you have it. SLR Connor very consistent out at the front. Missed out on pole by 7 milliseconds. Took the lead from Ghost in the first lap. Never looked back since. It was close. Only a couple of seconds separating him and Ross for a vast majority of the race. But SLR Connor had the pace and the consistency to bring the car home in first. Ryan, a good result from him, considering he crossed the line in 4th place at one point. But Ross's puncture right at the death has meant that Ryan has had a really good result. Chives, a stonking drive from him. Started in 11th, good stint on the mediums, went on to the hard tyres, never looked back, almost had Ryan on the line had it not been for a penalty. Wow. FBU note, wheel problems tonight. Hopefully they don't last for the rest of the season. And Ghost Tomino with that crash early on. The only 2 retirements. Wow. That is a great start to the season. I hope you guys really enjoyed. It comes now to me to decide driver of the day. I mean, there's some good solid shouts all around. I think Ryan had a good race, Ross had a good race, but our 2 drivers of the day tonight go to Chives and to Connor. They drove fabulous races, both with different tyre strategies, both starting in different portions of the grid, but they both deserve it. They didn't put a foot wrong, and Connor and Chives are your 2 drivers of the day. Jordan, nice to hear from you, mate. Says sick, yeah, indeed that was. And well, we've got 12 more races coming up in the coming weeks. Remember, this is not our only stream this week. Join us on Thursday night for AT1, Saturday night for F2, and Assist Tier 2 is on Sunday nights, all at 7:30 PM GMT, that is UK time. So pop them in your calendar, why not? I'm sure we're going to have some more fantastic racing this season. Wow. Chance for me to catch my breath, and until the next time, guys, we'll see you next time here on IRL.